अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Hello, I'm audible, sir.
जी 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 जी, आवाज आ रही है आपकी?
Okay, sir.
जमाल साहब,
Yes, sir.
बोलिए।
Audible, sir. Audible.
Okay. Very good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all of you. Today we have with us Professor Sajid Jamal sir as the resource person of this session. Sir does not need for any introduction. Sir is a distinguished educator and professor at the Department of Education at Aligarh Muslim University, AMU, Aligarh. Sir specializes in science education, assessment and evaluation, and teacher education. Sir has a long and varied career in education, including experience at multiple universities. Sir is heavily involved in teacher training, conducting numerous programs across India. Sir has a significant publication record, including books and research papers. Sir has also developed psychological skills. Sir is also involved in many national and international conferences. With this brief introduction, with due respect, I request Sir to share your expertise and long experience in this field with us. Sir, please start.
हेलो मुज्तबा सर। मुज्तबा सर।
Yes, sir. Sir, start, please.
Okay. So thank you very much, Mujtaba sir, for such a generous introduction of mine. I don't think I do deserve for such a generous introduction. All I can say that I'm a teacher, and definitely I have got the opportunity to address my fellow brothers and sisters. So the topic that has been given to me is an overview of IKS, that is Indian Knowledge System. So I can see, a lot of teachers have joined this program, and you people have gone through NEP. It has been much discussed on social media, and definitely much discussed and much talked of. So first, I will try to, within 2 slides of my presentation, I would like to present first the important characteristics of National Education Policy 2020. And then I'll be coming to IKS, and then I'll be focusing on various, you can say, achievements or contribution of Indian knowledge system in various fields, like philosophy, mathematics, science, and other fields. So I'm just sharing my screen. So please wait. Please wait. I'm sharing my screen. I'm sharing, my friends. I'm sharing. Just wait. Can you see my screen, my friends?
Yes, sir.
Right, right. So this is the topic and overview of Indian knowledge system. Let's start with National Education Policy 2020. I mean, before coming to National Education Policy 2020, I have framed some objectives for this particular session. So I'd like to request any one of you to please read this slide. My friends, listening to me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So any one of you, please read the slide. My friends,
Objectives
please
of
read the slide.
be familiarized with the relevance, role, and importance of IKS.
Yeah,
This is the first point. Be acquainted with the contribution of IKS in the fields of philosophy, mathematics, public administration, and governance, and science and technology. Third, become efficient in integrating IKS in the present education system. Then be sensitized towards various components of holistic health. Last one is the feel pride in being a part of rich Indian culture and traditions.
Right, right. Who are you, ma'am?
I'm Moushumi Ghosh. I'm the principal of Sri Ramakrishna Sharoda Vidya Mahapit, Kamarpukur. It is in Hooghly district of West Bengal.
Okay, okay, Ghosh ma'am. So with these objectives, I'm starting this session. Definitely, I will try to familiarize you people with the relevance, role, and importance of IKS. I will try to acquaint you people with the contribution of Indian knowledge system in various fields like philosophy, mathematics, public administration, and governance, and science and technology. Definitely, you all are teachers, and this is an EP 2020 sensitization workshop. So purpose is whatever you are going to learn in this workshop that you are going to integrate in your teaching. So I'm quite sure after this session, you will become efficient in integrating IKS in the subject, whatever you teach. Then definitely, I will try to sensitize you people towards various components of holistic health. And finally, I'm quite sure the moment my lecture will be over, you will feel pride in being a part of rich Indian culture and traditions. So with these objectives, I'm starting this session. So how NEP 2020 is different from other educational documents or the previous educational policies. So the vision of this policy is written on the slide, and I'm quite sure as a teacher, you people have gone through it, but still I want to refresh your memory. So again, I would like to request any one of you to please read this vision of NEP 2020. My friends?
Vision of NEP 2020.
Huh.
The vision of the policy is to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development and living, and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen.
Right, right. Who are you, ma'am?
I'm Dr. Shiva from MGR Educational and Research Institute, Tamil Nadu.
Okay, okay. Dr. Shiva, what do you teach?
I teach electrical and electronics engineering, sir.
Right, right, right. Thank you, Dr. Shiva. So this is the uniqueness of this NEP 2020, that it has clear-cut framed the vision. So definitely, as Shiva ma'am has just read, I mean, this policy wants to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride in being Indian. And the moment it is said a deep-rooted pride in being Indian, so that not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, and somehow making the learners sensible towards human rights, sustainable development and living, global well-being, and thereby making them a global citizen. The Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is our philosophy. So this is the vision of NEP 2020, and in my opinion, this is the vision of this NEP 2020, which makes it different from the other educational policies, or previous educational policies. Now, I'm coming to the IKS, and before I'm coming to the IKS, just I want to sensitize you people how this NEP 2020 is deep rooted in Indian knowledge system. So for that, I have identified 8 points, and these 8 points are mentioned on the slide. So I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capability of the each student. First point. Second point is flexibility. Third point is no hard separation between the art and science and between the curriculum and extracurricular activities. Fourth point, multidisciplinary and holistic education. Fifth, emphasize on conceptual understanding, developing ethical, human, and constitutional values. Next is respect for diversity and a local context. Last point is seamless continuum of education from one level to another.
Right, right. Who are you, ma'am?
Ma'am, sir, I am Dr. Huma Hilal from Aligarh itself, and I'm also a student of AMU. I have done my PhD from Psychology Department, AMU.
Okay.
Now I am teaching in Raja Mahendra Pratap University as assistant professor.
And you teach psychology, ma'am, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, very good. So if you see these 8 points, I mean, why I have presented, just to realize you people how deep rooted NEP 2020 is in the IKS. So it is our age old tradition. We tried to recognize, identify, and foster the unique capabilities of each student. So before I proceed, since all of you are teachers, so I want to take your opinion. Do you think that every student has some unique capabilities, has some unique potentials? What's your opinion, my friends? My friends?
Yes, sir. Each student is unique and different.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes, sir. Each student is unique itself.
Yes, yes. Unique as well as blessed with potentials and, innate capacities, capabilities. The only problem is that we are unable to recognize. Now, what we are required to do through education, we are required to foster those unique capabilities which are there among the students. But unless and until you will recognize and unless and until you will identify, you will not be able to foster. So recognizing, identifying and fostering the unique capabilities of each student, it has been our age-old tradition. It was integral part of our ancient education system, and somehow this NEP 2020 again talks about it. So this point definitely has been taken from Indian knowledge system. Then comes flexibility. So if you go through the document of an NEP 2020, so various types of flexibilities have been discussed. So can you name some of them? जो NEP 2020 में flexibility की बात कही गई है, तो उसमें से कुछ बातें आप, हाँ,
yes sir, you can take any subject or any discipline from any stream. There is no as such a stream.
Right. So flexibility related to stream, flexibility related to credits, flexibility related to credit transfer, flexibility related to multiple entry and multiple exit. I mean, some type of things have been discussed in NEP 2020. And again, this point has been derived from Indian knowledge system, because our Indian knowledge system was very much flexible in nature. So this is the second point. I mean, again, it is derived from IKS. Then comes the separation between arts and science and between curricular and extracurricular activities. So ancient education system, if you see, I mean, there was no watertight compartmentalization that this is physics and this is chemistry and this is zoology and this is mathematics. So all those teachers who used to teach music, they used to teach Vedas, they used to teach astrology, they used to teach mathematics. I mean, we didn't divide knowledge into compartments. I mean, for us, knowledge was a unified whole. This is one thing. And another thing, we didn't divide the knowledge on the basis of curricular and extracurricular. So somehow again this point has been mentioned in NEP 2020, and it has been taken from the Indian knowledge system. Then comes multidisciplinary and holistic education. I mean, again, it is such a point on which much emphasis is there on NEP 2020. So would you like to throw some light on this? What you understand through this multidisciplinary and holistic education?
Sir, actually, it's totally depend of the interest of the student, which subject they want to study.
Yes. And what is holistic education?
The overall development of the student.
Definitely. If you say that a student has a proper physical, mental, moral, emotional, social, and psychological development, then we will say that holistic education is there. And multidisciplinary means knowledge given in a holistic way. So again, I mean, this is the point which has been derived from Indian knowledge system. Then comes emphasis on conceptual understanding. So what is that, by the way?
Just try to understand the concept, the whole phenomena. The learning should not be a rote learning.
Rote learning, right?
Yes.
So you know, whatever the knowledge is given to the students, it's for the sake of application in their real life, and they will not be able to apply it in their life unless and until they will understand the concept. So emphasis should be on the conceptual understanding, not simply on rote memorization and just reproducing it in the exam and finally getting the degree. So again, if you see Indian knowledge system, so there, I mean, emphasis was not on the degrees. Emphasis was on not on the rote learning, rather somehow conceptual understanding. So again, this point has been derived from Indian knowledge system. Then if you come point number 6, 7, and 8, developing ethical, human, and constitutional values, respecting for diversity and local context, and seamless continuum of education from primary level to secondary level, from secondary level to senior secondary level, from senior secondary level to graduate level to postgraduate level. Somehow, I mean, there should be a continuity, seamless continuum should be there. So again, these are the points on which you can say that these have been derived from the Indian knowledge system. Now the question arises, what is Indian knowledge system? So since this is a diverse group, so for the sake of clarity in my presentation, in fact, I have defined all the three terms separately. So this you can see on the slide. So I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide. My friends, any one of you, please read the slide.
What is IKS?
Yeah.
Indigenous sources of knowledge generated by the Indian society, such knowledge synthesized, codified, and made available by the Indians.
Right.
Knowledge obtained by the insights gained by personal experiences with life situations, facing problems, and coming up with means of solving them. System a structured methodology and a classification scheme to access the available corpus of knowledge, the interconnection between the part of the knowledge in the classification framework.
Right, right. Who are you, ma'am?
I am Dr. Sheba, sir.
Sheba. Okay. Sorry, ma'am. In fact, before me slide is open, so I couldn't see your name. That's why I have asked. Thank you, ma'am. So, for the sake of clarity, I have defined all the three terms separately so that you may understand. So, as just Sheba ma'am has read, what is Indian? Indigenous sources of knowledge generated by the Indian society. And the moment I'm saying Indian society, so I'm not talking of today's India. I'm talking of the undivided India. That is India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Burma, Bhutan, I mean, Akhand Bharat. So such knowledge which was not only generated by the Indian society, rather synthesized, codified, and made available by the Indians. And what is knowledge? Now, obtained by the insights gained by personal experiences with life situations. So before I proceed and I further explain knowledge, I would like to take one of your opinion on one of the proverb. One proverb says that life is the best teacher. So please tell me whether you agree with this proverb or not.
Yes, sir, we totally agree on that.
How, ma'am? How life is the best teacher?
Because just big, so we can say that experience की वजह से जैसे जैसे experience होते हैं उसके accordingly हम सीखते चले जाते हैं.
Yes. And almost every day, almost every moment, almost every week, every month, every year, you face some experiences, new experiences, and in the light of that, you learn.
A lot, yes, sir.
Yes. So how knowledge is defined? Our ancestors, basically, they faced some problems, and in order to solve those problems, they utilized their insights, and that insight which was gained by their personal experiences. So they kept on accumulating all those experiences one by one, and later on it became a whole knowledge, a very comprehensive knowledge. Then what is system? Just now I mentioned that various experiences were gathered by our ancestors. So for the sake of clarity, somehow that knowledge was classified in various classes, and certain kind of interconnection was ensured between various classes, so that later on became a system. So in a nutshell, this is what I wanted to define Indian knowledge system. Now, coming to the next slide, what are the contributions of IKS? So if you see this particular slide, so how many areas I have identified, my friends, to discuss? Can you see?
7 areas, sir.
No, 6. 6 areas.
Oh, yes, sir. You are.
Yes.
Sorry.
So can you tell me the name, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Philosophy, maths, science and technology, application of science and technology, governance and public administration, and health.
Right. So, if you talk about contribution of IKS, I mean, it's very huge. And I don't think it will be summed up in just 1.5 hours. I mean, it's very huge. It's very comprehensive. But these are the 6 areas in which you will find immense contribution of Indian knowledge system. So I'll be moving like this. Most immense contribution of IKS is there in the field of philosophies. So I will first discuss the philosophy, then I will come to mathematics, then I will be talking about contribution of IKS in science and technology, then I'll be talking about the contribution of IKS in the field of applications of science and technology, then particularly health and public governance and public administration. So the first area, philosophy. So some points, 5 points have been mentioned. And I think through these 5 points, we'll be able to understand what's the contribution of IKS in the field of philosophy. So I'd like to request any one of you to please read the slide. My friends, any one of you, please read the slide.
No, sir.
Please read the slide.
Not visible, sir.
Definitely visible. Look it once more.
Indian philosophical systems.
Yeah.
There are 2 classes of philosophical systems.
Right.
Vedic schools of philosophy, Samkhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisesika, Mimamsa and Vedanta,
Yes.
and non-Vedic schools, Jainism, Buddhism, and Charvak philosophy.
Charvak philosophy.
Charvak philosophy. The Indian philosophical system provides a true world view and a vision for life and help us resolve the issues that we face in our life. The teachings of Upanishads suggest that attainment of knowledge is the highest goal of human life. Unlike the Western counterpart, the Indian philosophical thought is closely intertwined with the religious thought. The ultimate goal of human life is closely spelled out, and the path for attaining the same is also articulated in all the darshanas.
Darshanas, right. Who are you, ma'am?
Dr. Shiba, sir.
Okay, Shiva, ma'am. It seems you are the only active participant in this group. So, if you see, philosophy is such an area in which there is immense contribution of Indian knowledge system. And there are 9 orthodox schools of Indian philosophy. 6 of them believe in Vedas. So they are known as Vedic schools of philosophy. And as just Shiva ma'am has read, they are Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. Whereas 3 philosophies, they don't have faith in Vedas. So they don't have belief in Vedas. So they are known as non-Vedic schools of philosophy, and they are Jainism, Buddhism, and Charvak philosophy. Now, here is one point that's very important. How old our philosophical system is. I mean, if you compare Indian philosophy with the Western philosophy. So the history tells that, in fact, Western philosophy starts around 500 BC with the work of a philosopher, Thales. So his period is almost 500 BC. Whereas Indian philosophy is so much old that I'm putting here one of the greatest Indologist opinion, Max Muller. So Max Muller has said that Upanishad period is almost 1500 BC. So if you talk, I mean, and even Vedas period is much older than that. So even if you see the Upanishad period, I mean, 1500 BC, so at least it is 1000 years older in comparison to the Western school of philosophy. So Vedanta, I mean, Indian philosophy, if you see, there is one Western philosophy, idealism. So it very much resembles, but you know, Vedanta is much over and idealism is relatively newer. Similarly, another philosophy, Western school of philosophy, that is realism. So we have Jainism. Jainism very much resembles with realism, but definitely Jainism is quite older and realism is newer. Similarly, there is one philosophy, you see, humanism. So humanism came into existence in 1500 AD, but it very much resembles with Buddhism, and you know, Buddhism is quite old. I mean at least 2000 years old than the humanism. Similarly, another philosophy, naturalism, and it very much resembles with Charvak philosophy, but Charvak philosophy again is very much older in comparison to naturalism. So what I wanted to say through this, that our Indian schools of philosophy, they are quite older. And not only older, I mean, somehow they are so comprehensive that they provide a true worldview and a vision for life. And through that vision of life, they help us to resolve the various issues that we face in our life. So this is the unique contribution of Indian knowledge system in the field of philosophy. Then teaching of Upanishads suggests that attainment of knowledge is the highest goal of human life. And another difference, if you see, between Indian philosophy and Western philosophy. So Western philosophies, they separated religion from the philosophy. But you know, our Indian philosophies, somehow it is intertwined with the religion. So for us, religion is not separate and philosophy is not separate. Somehow religion and philosophy both are the two sides of the same coin. I mean, they are closely intertwined. And finally, every darshana, every philosophy somehow tells us what is the ultimate goal of our life and how we can attain that goal. So in a nutshell, this was the contribution of Indian knowledge system in the field of philosophy. Now there is another area in which immense contribution of Indian knowledge system is again there, and that area is mathematics. So for the sake of clarity in my presentation, I have identified 8 points, and through these 8 points, you will be able to understand how IKS has contributed in the development of mathematics. So again, I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide, except Shiva ma'am. So anyone except Shiva ma'am, please read this slide. What about the other friends?
Mathematics?
Yeah.
Number system, concept of zero and decimal system.
Right.
Measurement for time, distance, and weight. Geometry, property of right angle, triangle, concept of circle and pi, arithmetic, square root, series and progressions, trigonometry, Jaya and Kojaya, algebra, Aryabhatta wrote Ganitpada, yes. Binary system, Laghu and Guru, astronomy, concept of stars, planet, celestial bodies, solar and lunar eclipse, Tithi, Nakshatra, and Panchanga.
Panchanga.
Indian calendar system.
Panchanga, ma'am.
Panchanga, okay.
Right.
Panchanga.
Who
Sorry.
are you, ma'am?
This is Nuzhat Parveen, Assistant Professor in Zoology, Women's College.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So, I mean, mathematics again. I mean, huge contribution of Indian knowledge system is there in the field of mathematics. But as just Parveen ma'am has just read, I mean, through 8 points we can easily understand. So first contribution, and a very immense contribution, very huge contribution, that is of number system. So I don't say at this juncture of time that ancient civilization, other ancient civilization like Greek and Roman and Arabian and Mesopotamian and Chinese and Egyptian civilization, they didn't have the knowledge of mathematics. Definitely, a lot of knowledge of mathematics was there in those civilizations as well. But what's our unique contribution? We gave the concept of zero, and not only the concept of zero, rather the decimal system as well. Then if you see our people, they identified the units for measuring time, distance, and weight. So I mean, sometimes we are required to measure very small time, and sometimes we are required to measure very big time. Similarly, I mean, distance and weight as well. So our people, they identified the units to measure a small time, a small distance, as well as a small weight, as well as bigger time and bigger distance, as well as bulky objects or much weight. So this is another contribution. Then comes geometry, and particularly if you see, property of right angle triangle, concept of circle, pi. I mean, all these things were searched and were identified and were made available to the world by our Indian mathematician. I mean, they devoted their whole life in studying these properties of circle and right angle triangle. So here appears one term, pi. So what is that pi? I want to know from you people. Have you heard about it? What is pi, my friends? My friends,
Pie chart, sir. Pie chart.
Pie chart. Okay. Anything else?
Pi is a constant value.
Very good. Very good.
Pi is a constant value. Yes,
pi is a constant value. Its value is 22/7 or 3.1414. And how it comes? How it comes? If you divide the circumference of a circle with its diameter, I mean, whether circle is small or circle is big, whatever type of circle you have, if you will divide its circumference with the diameter, you will get a fixed ratio, and that ratio is 3.1414 or 22/7, and that is pi. So again, I mean, this is a discovery of Indian mathematicians, and this is a big contribution. Then comes the area of arithmetic. Our people, they studied square root, series, and progressions, and in the same way, trigonometry. So today we use sine and cos and such type of ratio. So sine was known in Sanskrit as ja, and cosine was known as koja. So why our people were good in trigonometry? Because our people were very good in astronomy. And astronomy is a subject to study which you somehow need the knowledge of trigonometry. So I mean, lot of corollaries, lot of identities, lot of formulas, lot of theorems in trigonometry were given by our people. So this is another contribution. Then comes algebra, and again, algebra is such a subject which was invented in Arabia, and all of algebra shows its origin of Arabia. So originated in Arabia, but somehow our people, they contributed a lot in the field of algebra. So they contributed through various formulas, various corollaries, various theorems, and there was great mathematician Aryabhatta who wrote a book Ganitpada, and in this Ganitpada there is one whole chapter that is fully devoted to algebra. So that was the contribution of again Indian mathematicians. Then binary system. So binary system, how it works today, I mean, there are two numbers, 1 and 0. So whatever the number you want to write, whatever the letter you want to write, computer reads only 2, that is 1 and 0. So similarly, such certain kind of binary system we had. So the smaller unit was known as Laghu and the bigger unit was known as Guru. Then comes astronomy. Our people, they had the knowledge of stars, planets, celestial bodies, solar and lunar eclipse, Tithi, Nakshatra, and Panchanga. So at this juncture of time, I wanted to know from you people, what is Panchanga, my friends? Have you heard about it?
No.
No one has seen Panchanga?
No.
Ghosh ma'am? Ghosh ma'am and other people?
No.
No, sir.
Okay. So Panchanga is the Indian calendar system. So what's the difference between Indian calendar and Western calendar? In Western calendar, you will find week, you will find date, you will find holidays. But in Indian calendar, every detail is there. I mean, Tithi, Nakshatra, eclipse, I mean solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, and everything. So Panchanga is a more comprehensive calendar in comparison to the Western calendar. So it is prepared on the basis of the knowledge of astronomy. So in a nutshell, these are the 8 areas through which you can understand the immense contribution of Indian knowledge system in the field of mathematics. Now I'm coming to the third area where again immense contribution of IKS is there, and that is science and technology. So again, I have identified 8 areas, and through these 8 areas, you will be able to understand how IKS has contributed to the field of science and technology. So I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide. My friends?
Yes.
Yes, please read the slide.
Science and technology, mining and ore extraction, particularly gold extraction. Number 1. Number 2, production of zinc. Technique of downward drift reduction distillation process was used, which is now used as modern process all over the world.
Right.
Third, metals and metal working,
Right.
particular mastery over iron, steel, zinc, copper, and their alloys.
Right.
Fourth one is smelting of iron, the Delhi iron pillar. Fifth one is manufacture of steel, wood steel.
Right.
Mercury mentioned in Charaka, right?
Charaka Samhita.
Charaka, okay. Charaka Samhita was used in amalgamation process for the extraction of silver and gold. Lead and silver. Kautilya's Arthashastra mentions silver coin of definite weight. And last one is lost wax casting of idols and interfacts.
Right.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Ma'am.
Welcome, sir.
So, I mean, these 8 areas, again, if you will look it minutely, so you will find what Indian knowledge system has contributed to the field of science and technology. Now, I'm taking the first area, mining and ore extraction, particularly gold extraction. So, gold was something very important in our culture, in our society. And the moment I'm saying that gold was important, so I don't say it was important only for the women. It was important for the men as well. Because in the ancient time, king and his ministers and, the noble people of the society, they all used to wear jewelries. Jewelry was melted from one farm to another farm, or gold was extracted from the earth and then it was melted and it was given the shape of jewelry. So certain kind of technology existed. Definitely that technology would have been different from today's technology, but certain technology definitely was there, and through that technology these people they did the mining and they extracted the gold ores from the earth. And then another contribution of Indian knowledge system was in the production of zinc. So there is one technique of production of zinc which is known as downward drift reduction distillation process. And how this technique is unique and how this technique is important, that this technique is used even today all over the world to production of the zinc. So far as the production of the zinc is concerned, even today all over the world this technique is used, that is downward drift reduction distillation process. So our people were aware about this technology. Definitely at that time machines would have been different, whole techniques and everything would have been different, but somehow the concept of downward drift reduction distillation was there, and our people, they used this process and produced zinc. Then comes metals and metal working. So our ancient people, our ancestors, they have particular mastery on iron, steel, zinc, copper, and their alloys. So at this juncture of time, I would like to know from you people, what are alloys, my friends? My friends? My friends listening to me?
Yes,
Sir, it is a mixture of 2 or more elements or metals.
Oh, very good. Very good. Sir, who are you?
Sir, I'm Jayanto Ghosh.
Ghosh, sir, what do you teach?
Sir, I teach English literature.
Okay, okay, Ghosh, sir. Okay. So, these car making companies, they talk a lot about alloy wheel. So have you heard about that alloy wheel, my friends? My friends? Okay. I think you are not aware. So alloy, as Ghosh sir has said, I mean mixing 2 or 3 or more than that elements. For example, mixing iron in some ratio with zinc or mixing iron in some ratio with copper. So it becomes very strong. Number one, it becomes very strong. And number two, it becomes lighter in the weight as well. It becomes compact and crispy. That's why all the car making companies nowadays, they prefer to make alloy wheels. So alloy wheel in comparison to the traditional wheels will have less weight as well as it will be more stronger. So somehow our people, they had the knowledge, they had the particular mastery over the iron, steel, zinc, copper and their alloys. So smelting of iron, again, I mean, a very important contribution. And the best example is the Delhi iron pillar. I mean, almost 2,500 years old, but still, I mean, it is free from rusting. So it shows the technology and the mastery or the knowledge that our people have. Then comes manufacturing of steel. And again, I mean, there was one particular type of steel that was known as Woods steel. So have you ever heard about it, my friends? Woods steel? What is Woods steel, my friends? My friends?
no, sir, I have not heard about it.
You haven't
No,
heard?
sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Anyone else in the group?
It is a high carbon steel, I think.
Pardon?
High carbon steel.
Yeah, very good. Very good, sir. Who are you?
Sir, Jayanto Ghosh.
Oh, Ghosh, sir. You seem to be very learned, sir. Very learned. Thank you. So, I mean, if you talk about steel, so in every type of steel, some carbon component is there. But the peculiarity of Woods steel is that in it, carbon component is more in comparison with the other type of steel. That's why it becomes too strong. And particularly, it is used in the weapons. And in the medieval period, particularly, there was one blade which became very famous throughout the world. And that blade is known as Damascus blade. Why? Because it was originated in Damascus, the capital of Syria. But it is said that, in fact, this Damascus blade was built on the technology of Woods steel, and that technology of Woods steel reached to Damascus through India. So, our people, they had the knowledge of Woods steel as well. That's again a very important contribution. Then comes mercury. And before I'm discussing something about mercury, I would like to again know from you people, what's the peculiarity of mercury? Mercury की कोई खास बात है जो आप जानते हैं, my friends? My friends listening to me?
Liquid metal, sir.
Oh, very good.
Liquid at room temperature.
Very good. Very good. This is one peculiarity of mercury that has been told. एक और है peculiarity इसकी. Can you think on that?
It damages metal, aluminium.
Okay. One thing more, that's very important.
Causes cancer.
Okay. So I'm telling you. So one thing, as Ghosh sir has told, it's the only metal which is found in liquid state. So all the other metal, they exist in solid state, but mercury is only
Mercury is in liquid state.
liquid state. So this is first peculiarity. Second peculiarity is that it's quite heavy. It's very bulky. I mean, in comparison to water, if you have taken 1 liter of water and if you have taken 1 liter of mercury, so 1 liter of mercury will be 13.6 times heavier than the water. It's quite bulky. It's quite heavy. Its density is very high. So these are the two peculiarities of mercury. And mercury is known as para in Sanskrit. And there was one great scientist, Charaka. He has written a Samhita, that is Charak Samhita. And in that Charak Samhita, he has discussed so many characteristics of para, that is mercury. And somehow why he has discussed a lot about mercury, because mercury was used in the amalgamation process for the extraction of silver and gold. That's why mercury was very important for us. So our people had the knowledge of mercury as well, and not only knowledge of mercury, rather its various characteristics as well. Then comes lead and silver. So if we'll go through the Kautilya's book Arthashastra, so it mentions silver coins of definite weight, and those silver coins definitely were made up of lead and silver and so many things. And finally, last wax casting of idols and interference. So in a nutshell, these were the contributions of Indian knowledge system, particularly in the field of science and technology. Now I'm coming to the another area again in which you will find immense contribution of IKS, and that is applications of science and technology. So for the sake of clarity in my presentation, I have taken 7 points, and through these 7 points, you'll be able to understand what's the contribution of IKS in the field of applications of science and technology. So I'd like to request any one of you to please read these points.
Yes, applications of science and technology.
Yeah.
Architecture, Vastu Shastra, and town planning, unitary building, residential building, and royal places.
Palaces. Man.
Palaces, okay.
Yeah.
Second one is irrigation and water management. Third one, dyes and painting technology. Fourth one is the art of making perfumes. Fifth one is surgical techniques. And sixth one is shipbuilding. Okay. And last one is 64 art forums. Kalas.
Art forms.
Art forms. So yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kalas. Right?
Kalas. Okay.
Right, Parveen ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So Vastu Shastra, I mean, one of the very important contribution of Indian knowledge system. So before I proceed, I would like to know from you people, what is Vastu, by the way, my friends? My friends listening to me? Ghosh sir, Shiva ma'am, Parveen ma'am.
Vastu is related to some kind of land or something. Land positioning of a house or a room.
Arrangement.
Home, I think home.
Ghosh sir?
Home, it is home. Home or living places, Vastu.
Home or living places. Anything else? Any other opinion? Okay. So tell me one thing. I'm presenting one fact before you people, and I'm quite sure that since you people are very active on social media, so definitely you people know about it. So people living in metropolitan cities, it is said that they are deficient in vitamin D. They are suffering from vitamin D deficiency. So have you heard about it, my friends?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. So can you guess any one reason for this?
Due to the lack of ventilation and the
Sunlight. Lack of.
Very good. So there might be other reasons as well, definitely. But you know, if you talk about the natural sources of vitamin D, so the best natural source is the sunlight. Yes, of course. And you know, particularly in the metropolitan cities, big apartments are there. So adjacent to one apartment, there is another apartment. Left side, there is a big apartment. Right side, there is a big apartment. In front of that apartment, there is a big apartment. In the back of that apartment, there is a big apartment. So, I mean, people hardly get the opportunity to expose their bodies in sunlight. You know, I mean, they are unable to get sunlight. And this is one of the reasons why people are suffering from vitamin D deficiency. So, why I was mentioning this point? Because Vastu is such a knowledge that ensures that the moment you are going to construct your home, what direction you will choose. I mean, it will be east facing or west facing or north facing or south facing. Where will be the drawing room? Where will be the kitchen? Where will be the bedroom? So that that particular building might be cooler in the summers and might be warmer in the winters. It might get proper ventilation. It might get proper air. It might get proper sunlight and something like that. So this is Vastu. And you know how Vastu was important? That in ancient time, no architecture was possible without the Vastu. So if you see the ancient structure, so I mean how the people planned a town and all those. So there are 3 types of building. A unitary building that served only one purpose. I mean some offices or something like that. Residential buildings which were made for the purpose of living, and the royal palaces. And every type of building, you know, when it was started to be constructed, somehow, you know, Vastu, opinion of Vastu specialist was taken. So, I mean, this is one contribution of IKS in the field of application of science and technology. Then comes irrigation and water management. You know, certain kind of rainwater harvesting system existed in ancient India. So why? Because water was very important for them. So even water is important, very much important for us also. But what's the difference between us and them? We have such machines which can extract water out. I mean, from 1,000 feet or 1,200 feet, something like that. We have submersible pumps and very efficient motors and so many things. But you know, those people, they didn't have such type of machines. So what they did, they preserved the rainwater. So somehow they made a system that there will be 4 or 5 ponds. So one pond will be reserved for the animals. One particular pond will be used for washing the clothes. One particular pond will be used for taking bath. I mean, something like that. And they ensured that, I mean, throughout the year they are getting the water. And when again it rained, they used to store that water. So certain kind of irrigation system and, you know, rainwater harvesting system and water management were there. So they used to take care a lot of wells and, you know, rivers and, you know, fountains and bowlies. I mean such type of things. So certain kind of water management system definitely exists, and it might have so many implications for us even today. Then dyes and painting technology, our people were aware about this. Art of making perfumes, definitely they made so many type of perfumes. Then comes surgery, and surgery is such an area in which there was particularly one scientist, one doctor, one surgeon, Sushruta. Sushruta devoted his whole life, you know, in the field of surgery. So what's the contribution of Sushruta? Two major contributions. One contribution, he made so many equipments through which surgery can be done. So he observed the beaks of the birds. I mean, if you will see the beak of the crow, it is different from the beak of the eagle. If you see the beak of the eagle, it is different from the beak of the falcon. If you see the beak of the falcon, it is different from the beak of the sparrow. So he minutely observed the beaks of those birds, and accordingly, you know, made the equipments, make the tools through which he can perform the surgery. So this is one contribution. Another contribution definitely is, I mean, he discovered certain kind of anesthesia technology. So he used to give anesthesia to the patients on whom the surgery was done. But definitely that anesthesia was not of today's anesthesia. I mean, it was not, chemicals were not used, rather some medicinal herbs and medicinal plants and certain type of leaves and fruits, etc. I mean, natural anesthesia was used. So this is the contribution of Sushruta. So through this point, what I want to explain, that our people were aware about the surgical techniques. Then definitely shipbuilding, because somehow ship was very important form of transportation, very important means of transportation. So they know shipbuilding. Then comes 64 kalas. So if you go through the National Education Policy 2020 document, so there was one philosopher, there was one scholar, there was one knowledgeable person, Van Bhatta, and Van Bhatta has discussed 64 art forms, 64 kalas. And this NEP 2020 recommends that these 64 kalas should be integrated, you know, in our teaching system, in our teaching and learning as well. So in a nutshell, these were the contribution of Indian knowledge system, particularly in the field of applications of science and technology. Now, another area where immense contribution of Indian knowledge system is there, and that is, you know, health. So again, I would like to request any one of you to please go through this slide. My friends.
Yes, this is health.
Yeah.
Ayurveda, a way of complete health.
Right.
Yoga for holistic health and wellness.
Right.
Emotional and spiritual intelligence.
Right.
Disease management.
Right.
Diagnostic techniques and surgery.
Right.
Drugs and physical therapy.
Right.
Sleep and food impact on health.
Right.
The body, mind, intellect, consciousness complex.
Right.
And Pancha Kosa.
Pancha Kosha.
Say sir. Okay.
Yeah, Pancha Kosha. Yeah,
a 5-layered existence. Anamaya Kosha. Yes. Pranmaya Kosha. Monomaya Kosha. Vijnanmaya Kosha and Anandmaya Kosha.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Parveen ma'am. It seems you are very active, ma'am, Parveen ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much. Right. So, okay. So as Parveen ma'am has just read these 7 points, but before commenting on these 7 points, two things I would like to clarify. Number one, the moment we talk about health, the moment our traditions talk about health, the moment our Indian knowledge system talks about health, then it is not simply the physical health. It is not simply the absence of diseases, and it's not simply the absence of illness.
Physical and mental health.
Yes, that's it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Rather, for us, health is holistic. And which health is holistic? Which ensures physical, mental, moral, emotional, and psychological health. So these 5 components should be there in the health. Then you can say that it is the holistic health. Let me repeat: physical health, mental health, moral health, emotional health, and psychological health. This is one thing. Another thing, and for that, I would like to take your opinion. Please listen to me and give your opinion. How much do you eat? When do you eat? How do you eat? When do you sleep? How do you sleep? And how much do you sleep? Do you think it affects your health, my friends?
Yes, definitely.
My friends?
Yes,
What
sir.
about other people?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now see, keep these 2 things in mind. And accordingly, our Indian knowledge system discovered 2 very important things. One is Ayurveda and another one is yoga. And how these 2 are important? As I mentioned, Ayurveda ensures complete health. The moment I talked about holistic health, then I talked about psychological health. I talked about mental health. So, that is ensured through yoga. So the moment I say yoga, don't be confused that yoga is just pranayama, haath pair hila diya, tali baja diya, hans diya, yahi yoga. No, that is very tiny part of yoga. Rather, a complete yoga is that which forces you to think from where you have come, for which purpose you have been born, what you are contributing to yourself, to your family, to your society, how you can be productive and contribute, something like that. So somehow yoga through various exercises ensures not only physical health and wellness, rather it ensures proper emotional and spiritual intelligence. And Ayurveda, it not only keeps you away from the diseases, rather it talks about preventoriums as well. What should we do so that we could not be ill? I mean, diseases should not come. I mean, before going to the bed in the night, at least 1 hour before that, we should take the bath. If you are not feeling hungry, don't eat. Before eating, wash your hand. I mean, something like that. I mean, all these things. So all these are discussed by Ayurveda and yoga. And these 2 are very important contribution to the world of Indian knowledge system, particularly in the field of health. Then disease management, I mean, certain kind of diagnostic techniques and surgery, our people knew and they talked about it. Surgery already I have discussed. Then various physical therapy was there. Even nowadays, physiotherapy has become very, very important. So have you heard about it, my friends?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And particularly, those people who suffer from knee pain and from bones problem or something like that. So not only doctors give them medicine, rather doctors suggest them to go to some physiotherapist as well. So physiotherapy is something very important because it keeps you fit. So certain kind of physical therapy our people knew, and so many you can say diseases and illness was removed through this physical therapy. Then sleep and food, already I have mentioned how it impacts on our health. And then there is a complex relationship between your body, mind, intellect, and consciousness. So remember, first of all, your body should be free from diseases and healthy. Then and only then you will think something good. So healthy body will lead to a proper mental growth. and that will lead to certain kind of intellectualism, and that intellectualism definitely will lead to you towards a consciousness. So I mean, this is a complex relationship, and this has been beautifully explained by Ayurveda. Then comes Panch Kosha, a 5-layered existence, and these 5-layered existence are Annamaya Kosha, I mean, related to the requirements of your body, Pranamaya Kosha, I mean, related to some physique and exercises, Manomaya Kosha, related to your mind, Vijnanamaya Kosha, related to some knowledge and understanding, and Anandamaya Kosha, somehow related with bliss and happiness. So we talk about these 5-layered existence, and it is ensured by, again, Ayurveda and Yoga. So in a nutshell, I mean, health is such an area in which you will find the immense contribution of Indian knowledge system. Then last field about which I want to discuss the contribution of Indian knowledge system is the area of governance and public administration. So I've identified 5 points, and I'm quite sure through these 5 points, you people will be able to understand what I want to say, or what's the contribution of Indian knowledge system, particularly in the governance and public administration. So I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide. My friends, any one of you, please read the slide.
So shall I read?
Yeah, sure.
Do's and don'ts for a king.
Right.
Arthashastra, science of logic and argumentation. Anviksiki, the Vedas. Vedas try. I don't know what is that. Vedas try. Okay. Yeah. Economics, Varta and governance.
Dandaniti. Yeah.
Kautilyan state. Book 6 of Arthashastra mentions 7 elements that make up the state. Right. The king, Swamin, the minister, Amatya, the territory, Janapada, the fortified capital, Durga, the treasury, Kosa, the army, Danda, and the ally, Mitra.
Ally, ma'am.
Ally, okay. Mitra. The administrative step up, king and his setup, king and his cabinet, palace administration, defense, treasury, revenue and law and order, civil administration.
Right.
The last point is the importance of dharma and governance.
Right. Who are you, ma'am?
Shiva, sir.
Okay, Shiva, ma'am. Thank you. So, I mean, these are the 5 points through which you can understand the contribution of Indian knowledge system, particularly in the field of governance and public administration. So first contribution, if you see that the scholars and the knowledgeable people and the philosophers, they mentioned do's and don'ts for a king, and accordingly they identified Raj Dharma. And dharma here, the moment I'm saying, don't be confused with religion. Why? Because religion is very narrow, whereas dharma is very wide. So our concept of dharma is based on our karma, that is based on our duties. So if I am a king, what is my Raj Dharma? If I am a commander of the army, what is my Senapati Dharma? If I am a husband, what is my Pati Dharma? If I am a wife, what is my Patni Dharma? If I am a teacher, what is my Shikshak Dharma? I mean, something like that. So what I am required to do, what duties I am required to perform, accordingly, this Dharma is decided. So in governance and public administration, particularly, what a king is required to do and what a king is not required to do, it was decided, it was fixed. Then comes Arthashastra, a very important contribution. I mean, it was written by a great scholar of his time, Kautilya, and particularly, I mean, it's a huge book and so many things have been discussed in this book, but particularly there are 3, you can say, aspect of this book. So one is Anviksiki, and in Anviksiki, Kautilya has discussed the science of logic and argumentation. Then he has talked about Vedastrai, he has talked about Varta, that is economics, and Dandaniti, that is governance. And in this book, Arthashastra, he has talked that there are 7 elements that make up the state. And what there are 7 elements. And what are those 7 elements? The first element and most important element is the king himself. So that is Swami. Then his ministers, that is Amatya. Then the territory on which the king is ruling, that is Janapada. The fortified capital, that is Durga. Treasury, Kosha, revenue, and army, Danda, and ally. And allies have their own importance. So if you remember last year, our beloved country, India, chaired the meeting of G20. So G20 is a forum, G5 is a forum, G6 is a forum, G7 is a forum, G77 is a forum, BRICS is a forum. So what we do on these platforms, somehow trade and commerce, a transfer of technology, transfer of other things, So allies always have been important, and Kautilya has taught that it is the 7 important component of the state, that is the allies. Then Kautilya has talked about administrative setup. So various layer of administrative setup he has discussed. So in the first layer, he has talked about king and his cabinet. In the second layer, he has talked about public palace administration. So these 2 important layers. Then third layer, defense, for which army is needed. Fourth layer is treasury. Separate people are required to maintain the treasury. Then fifth layer is revenue. Sixth one is the law and order. And finally, the last layer is civil administration. And as I mentioned, the importance of dharma in governance was repeatedly asked. And again, don't be confused with religion. Dharma is more comprehensive in terms of, in comparison to religion. Now, till now, in a nutshell, I have talked about the contribution of Indian knowledge system in the 6 wide areas. I started with philosophy, then I came to mathematics, then I talked about science and technology, then I talked about applications of science and technology, then I talked about health, and finally I talked about governance and public administration. Now the question is, what's the relevance of IKS? What's the importance of IKS? And what's the role of IKS? So I think in the coming 3 slides, I will be presenting all these one by one. So first of all, I'm talking about the relevance of IKS. So slide is opened before you. So I would like to request any one of you to please read the relevance of IKS. My friends, any one of you, please read the slide.
Relevance of IKS, knowing and preserving the ancestral knowledge.
Right.
Transmitting it to other generations. Creating a knowledge society. Ensuring a holistic and multidisciplinary education.
Right.
Promoting inclusive learning by recognizing and validating the diverse knowledge system.
Thank you, Parveen ma'am. So whatever the knowledge we have, it is a contribution of our ancestors. So it's our duty to transmit it to other generation. But you can't transmit unless and until you will preserve. And you can't preserve unless and until you know. So first you know what are the contributions of Indian knowledge system, then try to preserve it, and then transmit it to other generations. So you all are teachers. I'm quite sure since last 1 hour, I'm continuously speaking, and I have acquainted you people with so many aspects of Indian knowledge system, with so many contributions of Indian knowledge system. So I'm quite sure the moment you will know, you will be able to preserve, and the moment you will be able to preserve, you will transmit it to other generations because you are the teachers. So transmitting is very easy for you, but you can't transmit unless until you will know and you will preserve. So these are the 2 relevances. Then we are talking about a knowledge society nowadays, and which one is a knowledge society? In which the access to the sources of knowledge is equal to everyone. Everyone has access to the sources of knowledge, where economy and everything is based on knowledge, where mind is treated as an asset, and all the empires and all the assets are made of mind. So that society is not a society. So I'm quite sure, based on the insights of our ancestors, based on the previous knowledge, definitely we can create a knowledge society. And then, ensuring a holistic and multidisciplinary education, definitely. And our ancestors suffered from lot of problems, for example, water crisis and climate change and such type of issues. And if you see today's time, we again are facing such type of problems. So somehow they got the solution to those problems. So do you think that solution may be relevant for us today? So if it is relevant, definitely we can utilize that. So it might be another relevance of IKS, that we can promote inclusive learning by recognizing and validating the diverse knowledge system. So today's knowledge system, very advanced, very good, very fruitful, definitely, there is no doubt about it. But ancient system also has its own importances and has its own relevance. So the moment we'll be talking about it, by that way, we'll be promoting a inclusive learning environment. Then comes role of IKS. So what's the role of IKS? For that, I have identified 4 points, and I would like to request any one of you to please read the slide. My friends, any one of you?
Role of IKS. The first point, in providing a sense of identity to the members of the society, in shaping the culture of the society, in utilizing received wisdom to march on the highway of innovation and new knowledge creation,
Right.
in transforming knowledge into economic value.
Right. Who are you, ma'am?
Shiva, sir.
Shiva, ma'am. Okay, okay, thank you. So this will be the first role of IKS, that it will provide a sense of identity. So if you see Indians, I mean, India is a diverse country, and there is a lot of diversity in terms of race, in terms of language, in terms of culture, in terms of religion, in terms of caste. But there is one commonality among all of us, that is, we are Indians. So the more and more we will learn about IKS, more and more we will learn about the contribution of our ancestors to the world, more and more pride feeling will be created, and sense of identity among us will be created, that we all are Indians despite of all the diversities. So this is one role. Then definitely IKS has the potential to shape the culture of the society. And the third point that's very important, that no new knowledge creation is possible in vacuum. No new knowledge can be created without utilizing the old knowledge. So whatever the received wisdom you have got through generations, you will utilize that to march on the highway of innovation. So the received wisdom of our ancestors, which has reached to us, definitely it will be utilized in innovation and new knowledge creation. So that will be the third role of IKS. And finally, transforming knowledge into economy. Knowledge and economy, they both are closely related with each other. So nowadays, what is said, that knowledge is the real wealth. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is everything nowadays, it is said. So definitely, I mean, knowledge has the potential to be converted into economic value. So this might be the fourth role of IKS. Now I'm coming to the last slide of my presentation, and this slide deals with the advantages of IKS. So last time, I would like to request any one of you to please read this slide.
Advantages of Indian knowledge system. The first one is in providing enriched learning experiences to the students.
Right.
Second one is in promoting cultural understanding.
Right.
Third one, in bridging the gap between the traditional wisdom and modern knowledge.
Right.
Fourth, in inculcating the problem-solving ability among the students.
Right.
And last, in bringing the knowledge exchange with other
civilizations. So this is the last slide of my presentation, and I'm talking about advantages of IKS. So what may be the advantages? In the previous two slides, I have discussed the relevance as well as role. Now in this slide, I want to discuss about the advantages. So first advantage, it will provide enriched learning experiences to the students. And how it will provide enriched learning experiences? Because instead of getting simply the bookish knowledge, the theoretical knowledge, they will be able to be familiarized with the experiences of our ancestors also. And the moment you share real life experiences with the people, that learning becomes enriched. So this is one advantage. It will develop certain kind of cultural understanding. Definitely, the moment you will talk about more and more culture, about more and more type of people, about the food, about the custom, about the living traditions of various people, so certain kind of understanding will be developed. So this is the second advantage of IKS. And then, there is a gap between traditional wisdom and modern knowledge. Nowadays, modern people, they say that our ancient knowledge is nothing. But it's not like that. I mean, ancient knowledge, again, I mean, it has so much value. It has so much importance. So if there is any gap between traditional wisdom and modern knowledge, so through IKS, we will be able to, bridge that gap between traditional wisdom, I mean, the knowledge that we have got through our ancestors, as well as the modern knowledge. So this might be the third advantage. Now, if you talk about the fourth one, it will develop and inculcate the problem solving ability among the students. So how it can develop problem solving ability among the students, my friends? What's your opinion? My friends? Parveen ma'am, Ghosh sir, Shiva ma'am.
By student-centric learning methods.
Yes, yes, yes. So problem solving ability is developed when we talk about the real life experiences. So simply by talking about the bookish things, problem solving ability will not be inculcated. So if you want to inculcate problem solving ability, somehow you have to bring the students closer to the community, closer to the real life. By that way, problem solving ability will be inculcated. So I am quite sure that this IKS has the potential to inculcate the problem solving ability among the students. And finally, the last point, in bringing knowledge exchanges with other civilization. So in the beginning, I said that ours is one of the oldest civilization of the world, but simultaneously other old civilizations are also there. If you talk about Mesopotamian civilization, if you talk about Egyptian civilization, if you talk about Chinese civilization, so they have a lot of contribution. In the same way as we have the contribution, they also have the contribution. So the moment we will be able to know about our contributions, definitely we'll be able to know about the others' contribution, and by that way there will be knowledge exchange, or knowledge exchange will be possible. So I think this is the last advantage of IKS. So with this, I want to finish my lecture. It is 3:55 by my watch. I'm highly grateful to you for listening to me since I think 75 minutes continuously you have listened to me. So I'm putting an end to my lecture, and the remaining 5 minutes we can utilize if you want to share anything with me, or if you want to ask any question. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
I really want to know your opinion if in this digital era, can we really get back into the Gurukul system?
Zainab Mushir.
Yes, sir.
क्या करती हो?
Sir, research assistant or APMU.
Got it. Perfectly. Why you don't want? Why you want to return to Gurukul system?
No, the new education policy is telling us to get back to the Gurukul system, Guru Shishya Parampara.
Right. Guru Shishya Para does not mean that we want to return to the old age. I mean, Guru Shishya Parampara talks about the healthy relationship between Guru and Shishya, how Gurus take care of their students, how they groomed, how they developed their personality, how they sacrificed for their students, and in turn, how students respected their teachers, and something like that. So sometimes it was one-to-one teaching, sometimes it was completely child-centered teaching, sometimes it was some other different other system. So all those things which you seem to appropriate in this era, so you can take it. लेकिन अब ये सोचो आप कि वो पीपल के पेड़ के नीचे आज के बच्चे जाकर के बैठ के पढ़ेंगे, या रात में सोने से पहले जो है वो बच्चे जो है वो अपने गुरुओं का पैर दबाते थे उस टाइम में. तो बेटा अब आज के दौर में ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. वो पैर वैर नहीं दबाएंगे बच्चे. ज़ैनब मुशीर.
Yes, sir.
वो गर्दन नहीं दबा देंगे एक ही बार में. ज़ैनब मुशीर.
No, sir. Respect to him.
तो गुरुकुल सिस्टम की जो अच्छाइयां हैं आज के दौर में आप उसे ले लीजिए, लेकिन डिक्टो कॉपी करने की मेरे समझ से कोई जरूरत नहीं. एंड गुरु शिष्य परंपरा नेवर मींस कि हम बैक वहीं पर जाए. जो अच्छाइयां हैं उसकी हम लेंगे.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
चलो. So any other question? Thank you, Zainab, for asking such a question.
Thank you.
So any other question? I mean, there were some very good listeners like Ghosh sir and Parveen ma'am and Shiva ma'am. आप लोग के कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है मैम?
Sir, actually, your lecture was very interesting, and I learned a lot about this Indian knowledge system. You very nicely interpreted everything, and I understood whatever you taught me. So I'm very thankful to you for that.
Okay. So, Parveen ma'am, कुछ कह रही हैं?
No, sir. It was very good lecture. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very knowledgeable. Yes, sir.
So, any other question? Any other clarification? Anything you want to share with me? No? चलिए, तो वो जो कहाँ गए जमाल साहब जो प्रोग्राम?
Thank you very much, sir.
जी मुज्तबा साहब, कुछ और बचा है?
No, sir. I think question from participant sides. Now, sir, thank you very much, sir. On behalf of UGC MMTTC AMU Aligarh and collaborating institute, Kaliachak College, Malda, West Bengal, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to you for your insightful and engaging lecture on the very important topics, overviews of IKS, Indian knowledge systems. Sir, your depth of knowledge and ability to present complex concepts in such an accessible and thought-provoking manner was truly commendable. The session was not only enlightening us, but also highly inspiring, providing valuable insights that will greatly benefit the participants in their academic and professional journeys. Sir, we deeply appreciate the time and effort you dedicated to sharing your expertise with us. Sir, your contribution has undoubtedly enriched our learning environment, and we hope to have the privilege of welcoming you again in the near future. Sir, once again, thank you very much for your valuable contribution. Sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mujtaba Saab.
Okay, thank you,
my
sir.
friends.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm exiting, my friends, right? Thank you. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Dear participants, we have
Thank you, sir.
4:30 sharp. Please rejoin before 4:30.
Okay.